Morning. My name is Rohit Kaushik, and I'm the founder and CEO of Pegasus Networks. Pegasus is a Web3 application that generates non-tradable NFTs for each digitally verifiable task or set of tasks that an individual successfully completes. Examples of this include 1. Submitting code to remote repositories, 2. Creating digital art, and 3. Content creation. Pegasus will also be an engaging social media centered around NFTs for users to engage through each other's professional and academic activity on a daily basis. The main problem I set out to solve involves current recruitment processes due to inefficiencies. Low supply of jobs paired with high supply of employees is leading to an increasing standardization of testing, which will reduce human creativity as a function of time. Hiring processes are highly drawn out, repetitive, and lead to zero value gain in most cases since most candidates are not hired. The results of my outreach led me to change my angle of approach to this problem due to reasons I will discuss shortly. My current hypothesis involves the unavailability to verify a candidate's work and academic experience, short of contacting references, which is not a foolproof and a very manual process. Next, lacking portfolio verification for jobs in many industries like technology, which is one of the biggest sectors in the world. And finally, manual tracking of all the work that one does is tedious, manual, and so is updating one's portfolio on a regular basis. My customer outreach initially began with businesses inquiring about their hiring processes and their openness to use a platform that allows non-standardized hiring. This was centered around the initial product idea that I had, a platform where companies can post open source projects and people can work on them, with companies hiring people that make satisfiable contributions over time. The companies had several IP and legal issues around this, and most were skeptical, with only 5% of companies giving an affirmative response. This was clearly not the right approach for me, and there was a huge cold start problem with this positioning, which I will discuss in the next slide. For my current hypothesis, I switched the initial consumer base to be only users. I sent surveys to students across my university and some other working professionals if they would use my product as a tool for dynamic portfolio generation, introducing the idea of non-tradable NFTs that come with zero risk, and demonstrating the convenience of a one-click portfolio download. 80% of my surveys came back affirmative. The pivot and the motivation behind it. The massive cold start problem I had with my initial open source contribution platform was that 1. For users to be active on it, I required companies to sign up and open source their work, and 2. For companies to join, out of which only 5% agreed, they required constraints on the product, and it would only be worthwhile for them if they were actual users on the app. One side of the network needed the other for it to work, and I was dealing with two hard sides in this particular network. I took a step back and analyzed my business with the entirety of my vision. The key resource on my platform is the NFTs, and therefore the first tool I provide should be centered around it. That is the automatic portfolio generation tool. I then realized that a mere tool would be incredibly hard to organically grow and generate value on its own. It was missing a network of engaged users. This shifted my focus from my initial positioning product from the open source platform to building a social media for users, particularly students and working professionals, where they can engage and collaborate with each other on a daily basis through these NFTs that represent all that they do over time. I further realized that digital submissions can also include academic work undertaken by students as part of their coursework, and NFTs can be given out for all of their coursework. This ultimately led to the resolution of my cold start problem, with academic NFTs resolving the issue of my atomic networks, which will ultimately be groups of students in universities across the world who are coincidentally more inclined towards newer technology and even Web3. The resultant product is an academic and professional social media where users can understand each other's skill set in a more detailed way and even find peers for collaborative projects based on their needs. The best part, everything is reliable due to the nature of blockchain technology and the public ledger. Evidently, there are several industries that I will dabble with. The total market caps at over $800 billion, consisting of all students and working professionals in the world. EdTech, which is itself at around 130 billion today and is growing along with the associated market of educational institutions. Web2 and Web3 companies comprise of a market cap of over 300 billion. Insurance, tax, and other associated businesses that give employee benefits add on to this. And lastly, digital marketing is growing at over 400 billion today. Based on my current business model, I plan to target students and working professionals in a social media setting. EdTech companies will highly benefit from this, and this will draw more users due to knowledge verification and reliability. Web2 and Web3 enterprises will benefit from the KMS platform, which I will provide them, that gives them detailed analytics about their workforce's activity and their value generation over time. Over the last 3 months, I learned about growing atomic networks through replication and devised a growth strategy. I also had to think about different hard sides that the network could bring in and how I can incentivize them to stay. I had to come up with ways to address the needs of future high-value users in order to drive more engagement and retention. This led me to devise a growth strategy in its completeness. Finally, changing the product definition posed very interesting technological and economical problems for me, and I look forward to solving each one of them when their time comes. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.